What's up, guys? So I posted a community post on YouTube, and I wanted to make a video about, you know, there's an update that, about my life and all that stuff. I just wanted to give you an update because usually there's no update in my life, that much or that often. But on this event, I thought like this could be a good update, but at the same time I'm thinking like it's pretty pointless, and I would say it's gonna be pretty boring. But since you guys liked it, since a lot of you guys wanted to hear it, I was like, I mean, why not? I'm gonna make this video. So a lot of you guys know that I used to be friends with this girl, and the last time that I've seen or spoke to her was early 2020, and that was on text. And after that, we never spoke. We never seen each other. We never talked to each other. It was gone, and I was like, you know what? I want to forget about her because she's not gonna hit me back. She's not gonna really. She already forgot about me. She found somebody else, and she moved on, with her life. So one day, as I was, and this, by the way, this was not too long ago. So I was like, sitting on the couch. I was scrolling through the phone, and all of a sudden I got this random message, and at first I didn't really pay attention to it, but later I went to the messages. I was like, it was that girl, it was that girl that messaged me and say, hey, how's it going, how are you, Stigma? And at first I was like kind of shocked, because like I was like, this girl would never gonna text me, like this girl would never gonna message me. And at first I was like, whatever. But later I was like, no, she actually did message, and I was surprised. And I'm surprised because I already knew her. I already knew her, what type of person she was, and she had an ego and all that. But either way, it was her. It was her account, because I remember her Instagram, and she messaged me through Instagram. And I at first I was kind of like skeptical to respond. At first, honestly, I did not want to respond. And I remember she messaged me like 11 in the morning, and I just like, I try to forget it. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna respond to her because there's nothing else to talk about. Everything is done. She already saw me as a friend, and it's gonna be that way forever. And I was like, you know what? Let it go. Don't message her back and all that stuff. So about, like, I would say 6 or 7 hours passed. I was like, I'm not that type of person that leaves somebody on red or ignore somebody's messages, or like, generally speaking, I'm not that type of person, because I never had that many options anyway. I never had that many people message me in my life anyway. Usually it's like few people, and just a handful of people. So for what I did was, I was like, you know what, screw it, I'll message her back. So we messaged, and I don't exactly remember what we exchanged, but she was like, she actually told me, like, I wouldn't be surprised if you wouldn't message me back. and it's been a very long time. It's been like more than 5 years. And I was like, yeah, I know it's been more than 5 years. What made you decide to come back? And she was like, honestly, I I just wanted to message you, like, just a couple of months after we stopped talking, and you blocked me, and you ghosted me and all that stuff. So that's what she was saying. She was saying I blocked her and I ghosted her, which is true, because like I just didn't see any point of us continuing, because she friend zoned me, and I didn't even feel like she wanted to be my friend anyway. But I was like, so you know what? I'm not the same person, and I changed. And she was like, I changed too. I'm like, well, I mean, words are words, but you gotta prove it. And she was like, I'm going to prove it. And after that, she was like, I knew like you wanted more than friends. I was like, yeah, with girls I always wanted more than friends, because with girls I never wanted to be friends with them. And she was like, okay, no problem, I'm gonna be more than friends with you. And so basically, we talked a bit, and we're talking about like past and all that stuff. Oh, this happened, you said this, I said that. We're kind of like, exchanging like the good experiences and the bad experiences that we had as a friend. And we kind of laughed about it. We kind of like, at some point I kind of got upset, because I remember like, she ruined her sister's birthday, and I mentioned that to her, and I was like, I totally didn't like that. You shouldn't be ashamed of like ruining your sister's birthday, for something stupid. But she was like, yeah, I know it was my fault, and I was hard-headed, but now I'm kind of softened up. I'm like, yeah, you kind of softened up because you got older. Because when I used to talk to this girl, she was like 23, 24. Now she's like freaking almost 30, And I was like, yeah, this like these are the typical stuff, like when these girls get older, they always remember that there's that one guy that they treated like garbage and friend zoned him and used him and manipulated him. And they'd be like, oh, let me hit that guy up and see if like he's still available, he's still alive, something like that. But you know but I was like, you know what, it's fine. If she changed, maybe there's something in there. If she's the same, I'm gonna cut her loose right away. If she start acting the same and all that stuff, I'm gonna cut her loose. If she says like friends, done. Like not even like one more word, one more letter exchange. That's it. It's gonna be crickets. But since she was saying like, I want more than friends, and she was saying like, oh, I never meant to hurt you. I was going through midlife crisis, and I was going through financial difficulties. I was going through like emotional problems and all that stuff, which is true. I really felt it. She was going through some financial and emotional issues, but that's not really my problem. That's not really my problem, because like I'm just a human being. I was trying to be with her. I was trying to be there for her and all that stuff, and that's what she did. And she kind of got threw me off, and that's why I kind of like didn't want to talk to her. But she was keep mentioning it. She was keep mentioning like, oh, you're the one who blocked me, you're the one who ghosted me. I'm like, yeah, you're damn right, I blocked you and ghosted you. just look at how you were like behaving and how you were treating me in the past. And she was like, yeah, I remember, but it wasn't that bad. I think, honestly, it wasn't that bad. I'm like, yeah, it was terrible. It wasn't bad, it was terrible. And she was like, oh, you saying that because you seeing it from your perspective, but from my perspective it wasn't that bad. I'm like, okay, whatever, you believe in whatever you want to say. And then she was like, well, I'm changed. I don't want to, I mean, the past is a past, it's gone, and we got to look forward to the future. And, you know, but you know what? I'm a type of person that, I never forget when somebody's treating me like some type of way. So I was telling her, like, look, I'm not going to forget it, but I'm gonna forgive you. Like, I'm gonna forgive you, but that doesn't mean like I'm gonna forget about everything. I'm still gonna remember it. And she was like, but that's gonna bother us. I'm like, I mean, I can't do nothing about it. It's just how I am. I can't really close my eyes of what you did and what you said and how you made me feel. And she was like, but look, back then you already knew what I was going through. I'm like, yeah, I know you were going through some like bullshit, but that doesn't mean like you have to treat somebody that cares about you like that. And she was like, yeah, you're right, because I didn't know the value of you. And this is what she was saying. She was saying like, always like thought you were handsome and all that stuff, but I just didn't want to be with you because I knew I was gonna hurt you. Wow. I was like, wow. So you thought I was handsome, but you didn't like me. She was like, honestly, romantically, I didn't like you back then. I'm like, so what made you like me now? She was like, honestly, like, I knew you were initiating some physical contact and all that stuff, and I was kind of shy, and I was like, I really didn't feel like it to do it with you and all that stuff. I'm like, well, yeah, because you didn't like me then. Because if you were liking me, you wouldn't do it. And she was like, no, that's not the case. I told you let's be friends. It's not because I didn't find you attractive, but it was because of my own insecurities and problems. Which she had insecurities and problems. And then she was like, you're a good guy. I didn't want to hurt you. That's, but anyways, and we were talking a bit, on the text, and I wasn't texting her right away, honestly, because I was like, what, I don't want to take her seriously like that, like she back then she didn't take me seriously, but I was like, what, I'm just gonna text her whenever I want, like I'm just gonna text because I'm busy working too, I don't have time all day to text this girl, so after like a couple days, I was like, okay, so what do you want to do? You want to meet up and shit? She was like, yeah, I really do want to meet up. I was like, all right, let's go do this. And she actually suggested a restaurant that we can go. It was actually a cool ass restaurant too. So we went there, we talked, we talked a bit. The vibe was good, but obviously, she got older, and I'll be honest with you, she gained a few pounds too. And yeah, guys, she's not skinny, I'm not saying like she's obese, but she ain't skinny. But I told her like, so here's the thing. You were always mentioning friends and all that stuff. What made you change your mind? And then this is what she told me. And I kind of knew about this too, you know. She said like she was with this guy for about 8 months. And the first few months they were friends. And then the last few months they were like kind of like friends with benefits, you know. And she was like, you know, I never liked that guy, but she made me feel, I mean, he made me feel really good, you know. He made me feel like I was worthy and I was wanted. So I kind of opened up to her. I kind of opened up to him, and being so comfortable with him and get like physical and all that stuff with him. I was like, okay, so you talking about I've never like made you like comfortable and all that stuff. She was like, honestly, you didn't, you know. And I was like, damn. I mean, to be honest, guys, you guys already know I'm not the most experienced guy out there. I mean, I'm 33 almost, and I never had a girlfriend. I never had sex. So, I mean, what do you expect? I can't really make a woman go like, I can't really get a woman get like soaked, you know. I can't really do that, you know. But you know, so we're talking, and she was like, yeah, from that, I mean, he treated me like bad. He was yelling at me. He was and he was like threatening her, you know. So she was tired. She decided to block him and remove him out of her life, you know. And you know, so basically she's no longer talking to him because that guy's, you know, as far as I know, that guy was a knucklehead. You know, that guy was a troublemaker, you know, which is not surprising, you know. And she was saying like, I never wanted to be with him, you know, because I didn't find him attractive. You're more handsome than him. And but the problem is that he knew how to like seduce me and all that stuff, but you never seduced me. That you never like turned me on with your like whatever your tongue or with whatever you were doing. I was like, yeah, yep, that's I mean, that's just how it goes. But anyways, I was like, you know what, you know, I'm just not gonna like jump right away and be like, oh, thank you for accepting me back, you know, thank you for texting me, oh, we can be friends, we can be, I mean, not friends, but we can be together right now. Oh, like, I didn't do that, bro. Honestly, I didn't do that because like that's just some simp shit, you know. Maybe what I'm doing right now is a simp shit, but honestly, guys, if you guys in my position, and I know some of you gonna comment and be like, bro, you should never get back with that girl, bro. You should block her, bro. You should stay away from her. She did this, that, the other to you. She's not worthy. She's this, that, and the other. I'm like, yeah, you guys are right, bro. You guys are right. You know, and I never like, you know, I never go against you guys. You know, I'm always gonna be on your side. You know, not any other girl's side. But here's the thing, bro. Like, my phone is dry. I have nobody to talk to. I have nobody to text with. I message girls. They just act like I don't even exist. I'm completely invisible. And I'm just like, you know, always, you know, left on scene. You know, like, no girl is really giving me any attention. You know, no girl is even looking at me, you know. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give this girl a chance. You know, like, I'm gonna give her a chance. But if she gets out of line, I'm gonna put her on spot. You know, I'm gonna just tell her right away. I'm like, hey, you're doing this wrong. You know, I'm gonna have some backbone, bro. And I standing on that. You know, I didn't lose my you know, I didn't lose my dignity, you know. I still have my dignity, but I'll be like, you know what? you know, if I get back with her, there's gonna be some boundaries, you know? There's gonna be some boundaries, and that needs to be respected, you know? And if she's not respecting, I'm gonna go tell her, like, F herself, you know? And I will never get back with her ever again. I'm gonna tell her, like, you know what? You came back for the second time and you still acting like that and you don't respect me, you're gonna be gone forever. You know, you should be glad that I gave you a chance. You know, I made her that. I made her feel like that. I made her like, you know what? You should be glad that I even responded to you. I'm even talking to you right now because I never wanted to. But you know, we went out to this barbecue place, and you know, she seemed like changed a bit, you know, but it was cool, you know. We're there, you know. We went to this Korean barbecue place. It was pretty nice, you know. And then after that, we talked and all that stuff, and I set some boundaries. I was like, look, you know, I know I came back, but don't think like I'm just gonna be that simp for you, you know. You know, if you wanna like, you know, use me and manipulate me, you're gonna be gone. And she was like, oh, I never meant to use you and manipulate you. What are you talking about? And all that. So I'm like, I don't know, but if I ever feel the slightest that you want to do that, I'm gonna be gone, and I'm gonna be gone forever. And she was like, okay, no worries, whatever you say. I was like, I'm not done yet, you know. I was like, you know what? There's other rules too. I'm gonna tell you, like, later, but you better act right, you know? You better act right, because you're older and you're not the same anymore, you know? I know you got a good job, but you're not the same, you know? You're not the same person, you know? Like, you got older, you gained a few pounds, and you kind of like lost your SMV a bit, you know? And she kind of like, she didn't say anything, you know. She was like, I think deep down inside she was kind of mad, but I just let her know like that, you know. So the funny thing is, bro, like, I was kind of like, when I went out with her, I was kind of like nervous, you know. I was like, man, I have to like maintain my composure. I have to like, you know, I have to like freaking, I have to be on my behavior, you know, because like, I don't want things to go wrong, you know, at least from my end. So what happened was that we went and talked and all that stuff. We went to this park, you know. There were some swings there. We sat there, you know, on the swings, and we're talking. We're talking like, yeah, you did this, you did that, you did this, you did that, you know, all that crap. We talked a lot, bro. We talked a lot. And then I was about to drop her off, and, you know, she was like, you know, because I was really tired, bro, because I came back from work. I mean, not work, but I came back from like running errands, and I was really tired. Like, I took my car to car wash. I took my mother's car to car wash. I went to store. I went to like shopping. I went to like freaking I went to this mechanic place, you know, because like my mother's car gave some problems, so I just like went to take care of it. I was like, the whole day I was busy, you know, and I had to clean my house or my apartment and my room and all that stuff. So it was like my energy was drained, you know. So I just went to, on the purpose of like talking and chopping things up and set some boundaries, you know. That's all it is. I was like, the first day we're gonna be like, you know what, we're just gonna talk, we're just gonna see where it goes, you know. And you know, when I was trying to drop her off, she was like, I mean, you can pull on the side of the road if you want. I kind of got the idea. She wanted to like, you know, get physical, but I was like, you know what? I'm just tired, man. I'm just tired. Let's do it next time. And she was like, okay. And I think like some of you guys gonna be like, oh, you're such an idiot, you know, she opened a door for you and you shut it down. Bro, like, you shouldn't act thirsty with girls, bro. You should not act thirsty. Because the first date, what if like she was like testing you? What if she was like, oh, let me see how much control I have over this guy. Let me see how much this guy has like he's lost on the control. You know? So I didn't do that because of that. Because I wanted to like show her that, hey, I don't need you. I don't need sex to be happy, you know? Even though I do. But you should show them that you don't need it, you know? And that's how you gain respect. That's how they be like, oh damn, okay, you know, so this guy is not thirsty like this any other guys. Because any other guy, if it was in my position, oh bro, like he would like freaking like swerve to the lanes, you know, and freaking hit the curb just to like, you know, I don't know, whatever, make out with her or something, you know, grab her and all that. But I didn't, you know. And you guys should listen, you know, young guys, you should listen, you know. You should, like, it doesn't matter if you guys don't get anything, you know. You should still get respect, you know. You should like respect yourself. And sometimes these girls are just testing you, bro. But anyways, I want to make that clear so you guys don't say like, oh, this guy is like such an idiot, you know. No, it was just because of that, what I explained it. So she was texting me after that. She was texting me like, oh, I really had a great time. It was great, you know, the place was nice, you know, the vibe was good, you know, you're actually becoming more handsome and all that stuff, you know, and you know, all that crap. So I was like, thank you, you know, appreciate that. Yeah, because I was dressing nice and shit. So so the second time that we went out, you know, she told me like, let's go to a beach, you know. And I was like, that sounds cool. I mean, I like going to beach, you know. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna come pick you up around this time, so get ready. And she was like, okay, that's fine. But you know, the problem was that I just didn't want to drive, you know. I didn't want to drive. And I told her like, hey, you know, I don't feel like driving, can you come pick me up? So just to test her, you know, I just wanted to test her like, hey, you know, I'm not gonna bring a car. So if you don't bring your car, we're not gonna go. And she was like, yeah, sure, I can bring my car, no worries, you know, I can come pick you up. I was like, all right, sounds good. And she was like, get ready around this time and I'll be there. Just bring some blankets so we can, like, you know, lay down on the sand and all that stuff. So, or sit down on the sand. I was like, all right, it's all good. You know, I had like a bunch of them, so I just took one. So, you know, on the road we talked a bit, but, you know, when we got there, it was dark. You know, it was pretty dark. And, you know, it was like around 9:30 in the afternoon. So, it was pretty dark. But the place that we went, it was pretty cool, you know, it was very cool. The weather was cool. We're right next to the beach. It was freaking nice. The vibe was good and all that stuff, you know. And we drank some Starbucks, chop it up a little bit. And she was like, hey, you know, you can lay down if you want to, you know. I was like, all right. I mean, I'd love to, you know, because like I was like laying down, like I was staring at the sky. I was like, damn, bro, this is pretty cool. Even this girl wasn't here, it would be still cool, bro. Because like, I mean, I don't know if you guys went to the beach at night, but that shit is nice, man. But anyways, so we're talking and all that stuff. So a few hours passed. We went to a park, and we, sat on the, like, we're sitting on a bench. Or sorry, we were like actually walking on the park, and I took her to a nice park, and we like, we're like walking and talking and all that stuff. And then it was pretty late. It was like 12:30, so there were like some coyotes and all that stuff at the park, and so I didn't want to like scare her or something happen. So I was like, you know what? Let's go inside the car. And she was like, okay. I was like, but let's go in the back seat. She was like, all right, sounds fun. So we went to the back seat, and and she was like, so I mean, honestly, bro, the vibe was like pretty cool. So I was like, you know what? Let's just get busy, So, I kind of grabbed her. We started making out for like an hour or two. Started making out. I grabbed her. I grabbed her like breast. I started like touching her legs and all that stuff. Touching her thighs, touching her stomach. I was making out with her. I grabbed her neck and all that stuff. We're in the back seat, so, and she was feeling it, she was really feeling it. And, I pulled her hair, because for whatever reason, she likes to get her hair pulled, whenever we're making out and shit. So I pulled her hair, and I went for her neck. I start kissing her neck, start biting her neck. And, it was pretty cool, like, we're like, and we're doing that for like a couple hours, you know what I'm saying? Like, straight up. And, it was pretty cool, I liked it, And, I was kissing her face, and then I went to her stomach, start kissing her stomach, and, start touching her navel, grabbed her hand, all that. All that stuff, and it was pretty cool, and I was like, damn. She really changed, because like back then she didn't even like wanted me to touch her, but now she's kind of open. And then like she was kind of a freak, bro. She was kind of a freak too, but I'm not done yet, So she grabbed my neck, start kissing my neck, start biting my neck. And, it was all cool. We did it for like 3 hours, and we kind of got tired, honestly. We kind of got tired. It was like 3:30 in the morning. And I was like, damn, man. We're at this shit for like long time, and we're going hard on each other, but here's the thing, I didn't bang her, that's the thing, I didn't bang her, so I didn't get no coochie, so it was pretty cool, after that, in the morning she woke up and her neck was all bruised up and all that stuff because I gave her some hard ass hickeys, she gave me a hickey too, and it was cool, it was cool. And then after that she liked it so much that the next day, which was Sunday, because we went on Saturday, the Sunday came and she was like, oh, please, can we go back to that beach again? And I was like, damn, she wanted again? So I was like, all right. And then we went to the beach, and we found some parking spot because everything was, after this Palisade, fire, everything was freaking closed, bro. But anyways, we just drove and we found some cool ass spot. I brought some tea because she wanted some tea. And you know, I bought some food. She bought some like pancakes and all that. And we just sat down on the beach, you know, on the sands. We obviously will lay down a towel, you know, so we don't get like all like sandy and all that stuff. So we're laying down, and then, man, that view was amazing. You know, I remember that view. That view was amazing. So what we did was we just lay down again after like drink our tea, because it was kind of chilly over there, but it was nice, you know. And but it was on a different spot. It wasn't like the same spot. It was like a totally different spot, you know. There were like some people around. It was nighttime again. It was like 10:30 at night. So, you know, it was pretty cool. And you know, we lay down, and after like 5 seconds of laying down, she grabbed my hand and put it around her neck, and she kind of got like really close to me, you know. She kind of like, our bodies were touching each other. So, and then, you know, after a couple of words, you know, we're talking and all that stuff. I was like, it's a freaking nice view, you know. It's a nice chilly, like, you know, it's a nice chilly day, you know, Sunday and all that stuff. And then she turned around and she was like, you know, all right, stop talking, let's get busy, you know. So again, you know, we started to make out, you know, really, really hard on the beach, you know. And we're going ham on each other, you know, again, you know, with all the makeouts and touching and all that stuff. Like, I was like grabbing her really hard, you know. I was pulling her to myself, you know. And you know, and she was feeling it, bro. She was really feeling it, you know. And she wouldn't mind going like for hours, dude. Like for hours. She could go for hours, dude. Like, you know. And basically what happened was that, you know, we started making out and shit, you know. And I was seeing like people passing by, you know. They were looking at us all weird and shit. But I was like, whatever, you know. It's all good, you know. And so after like, I would say like 30 to 45 minutes of making out, you know, I was like, all right, let's take a little bit of break, you know, because and you know, after that, you know, we just went back, eat something, drink some water, and then we lay down, and then we're looking at each other like really close, you know, while we're laying down. And then I was like, so where were we? And right after that, she just jumped on me, you know. She jumped on me, start making out, start kissing me, start biting me, you know. And I was like, damn, bro. And I was really in the mood, you know. She started going for my neck a lot. You know, she started grabbing my hair and pull it, you know. And I was grabbing her titties, you know, because, I mean, she was getting turned on her, like, when I was touching on her titties, you know. She was, like, really getting turned on. And she loved it, bro. Like, she loved it. And man, like, that was a good experience, honestly. That was a good experience. And you know, we're doing that, and after like again like 45 minutes of just doing that, and we took a break again. And then I started, like, you know, touching her stomach, you know, like I was trying to like tease her and all that stuff. I tried to seduce her. And, you know, she grabbed my hand, you know, and she pulled me on her again, you know. And this time I was on her, you know. I was literally on her. Start like kissing and all that stuff. Like, it was just kissing after kissing after kissing. You know, you guys gonna be like, oh my god, this guy's so lame. I mean, maybe you guys are right, but You know, we were at the beach, we were at the public place, you know, there were securities around and all that stuff. So, and I didn't have no condom on me. So, but anyways, you know, we were having some good time, you know, and she really felt it, you know, she really liked it, you know. And after that, she started like texting me nonstop, you know. She started texting me, and I told her like, dude, look, I can't text you all the time because I just don't like texting, you know. If you want to meet up, we can meet up, but unfortunately, I'm just like working. I'm working a lot, you know, so we can only meet up maybe once or twice a week, you know. And she was like, oh, that's not good, you know, I want to meet up more. I'm like, I mean, maybe I can make up a little bit of more time, but I gotta respect it, you know, because I have to have my job too, you know. And she was like, yeah, I respect that, you know. But the moral of the story is, you know, this video, why I call it like a pointless video is because, like, yeah, I did some stuff with her. Yeah, we really did have a good time. You know, and she actually went to hospital for her lip because I kind of like, I think I bit her lip, and it kind of got like tore up from inside. And for her neck too, you know, she kind of like, she was kind of embarrassed to go to her job, and she actually didn't go to church, and she had to go to an interview too, you know, and she didn't do none of it because of her neck. And her neck was really bad, you know, really bad. When I saw her neck, I was like, damn. Like, oh, I felt so bad for her. But I at first I was kind of scared, but then I felt bad for her too, you know. But but the whole time she was saying like, I told her like, hey, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, like, you know, end like this, you know, like you didn't go to like you had to call out from your work, you didn't go to interview, and you didn't go to church and all that stuff. She was like, no, that's perfectly fine, you know, that is totally fine, don't worry about it, it's not your fault, I wanted it too. And you know, all that stuff, you know, she really felt it, you know, she really liked it. But the moral of the story is that why I call this a pointless video is because, well, first of all, I'm still a virgin, you know. I'm still a virgin. You know, I'm still holding my V card. I'm still like almost 33. I never had no coochie. I never had no type of like sex, you know. But, and I just didn't want to make this video, bro. Like, I really didn't want to, because I was like, what do they want to hear? Like, they wanted, because usually you guys wanted me to like say like, oh, I got a girlfriend, I finally banged some girl, you know, I finally got some. But I didn't get some, bro. I mean, yeah, we did a lot, but it wasn't like the main point, you know. We didn't get to the main point. That's the problem. And so yeah, man, I don't know if you guys find this video like boring or find this video kind of interesting. For me, it was kind of like from the both world. It was kind of interesting and not so interesting, you know. But it was a good experience, you know. I was on drought for a very, 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 very long time. But finally, I had some physical contact. I had some female touch. And it felt good, you know. I'm not going to lie. It felt good. And I want to let you guys know that I'm still a BP, you know. I'm not a simp. I'm still a BP. You know, I will always going to be a BP. I'm not changed. I'm still gonna make videos. I'm not gonna stop making videos, you know, even though like me and her will get serious, you know. I don't know, but even if we get serious, I'm still gonna make videos. So you guys don't think like, oh, this guy found a girl, he's gonna leave this community, he's a simp, I knew it, this guy. It's none of that, bro. It's not. I'm still here. I'm still a virgin. I'm still depressed. I'm still like going through my midlife crisis. I'm still fighting with demons. I'm still making videos, you know. So just because of those experiences, you know, that I have with that girl doesn't mean like, you know, I'm gonna completely like do 180 on you guys, you know? Cause I'm telling you guys, I've been a BP for a very long time, you know, very long time. So, and to me, these things are not even like, these things, they weren't even like that exciting, bro. I mean, yeah, I know, bro, because like, I mean, 33, no girls, no type of female attention, never had a girlfriend. I mean, all those stuff, these stuff is like a big W, but to me, at least to big W for those people, but to me it was like, it was all right, you know. It was all right. And that's all I wanted to let you guys know, you know. And oh, by the way, I went to my job and they saw my hickey and they were start talking about it. They were like, "Oh my god, this guy finally got some. Oh my god, like this guy was on drought forever and all that stuff." But you know, these guys, they didn't know, like I didn't get no ass. But you know, let me know what you guys think. And this was like a long ass video. And I just like, I cut some stuff too, you know, as far as like we talk and all that stuff. So I just basically told you guys the main things. So I don't know what you guys think, you know. Let me know in the comment section, like, if you find this video boring, if you find this video kind of like cool. I don't want you guys to be mad at me, telling me like, oh, this guy's like, you know, this guy was fake and all that stuff. No, I'm not fake. You know, I'm not fake at all. I'll always be real, you know. But what I wanted, I mean, look, guys, I just had a girl like doing this stuff, and I'm still making videos, you know. And I'm telling you, I'm still stressed out. I'm still like, my life is it's shit, you know. I'm not happy with my life. Um, but you know, that's just how it is, bro. That's just how it is, you know. And one girl is not gonna change your life. I just want to let you guys know. And even though it was great, we had a great time together, it's still not gonna change me, you know. There's something inside of me that will never change, you know. And I'm still not taking her that seriously, honestly. um I'm still like trying to figure out what I want to do with this girl, how far I want to take it, you know. I'm kind of like, want to keep it this way than relationship, but we'll see how it goes, bro. But let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think? Like, I should do? I should cut her off, or I should continue, see what happens, or I should just kind of be in the middle. But let me know, you guys, in the comment sections, guys. And I'll see you guys on the next one. I will give you more updates if anything happens. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Thank you. I appreciate you guys.